Welcome everyone into Young Innovator Australia channel, and today we have with us Glenn Stephenson, who's a president of Karate Academy, Gojuryu, Australia. And welcome, Glenn.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Great. So get started as we normally all bring the heroes from the people who are helping a young generation in many ways. So that's what Young Innovators Australia is about. Today we're going to ask Glenn, how did he start into martial art and what made him to get into it?
I started in 1980. My friend of mine wanted me to come along and try something out. I was doing surfing and professional surfing and so forth, and I wanted to keep fit still. So he said, "Why don't you try this out?" I went to a class, watched one class, and then trained in the next class, and was hooked from then.
Excellent, excellent. So which suburb was that? Which area you were doing that part in there?
I was living in Ashfield at the time, so
Okay,
Ashfield in
great.
Sydney.
Yeah, that's in the inner west. That's great. And from that onward, what point you reached today where you decided, okay, this is want to be mission of my life now. I want to. Before that, what kind of career path you were thinking, and what made you to switch to that?
Well, in the start of the training, I thought, okay, well, my idea was, okay, I'm going to train this and I'm going to get to green belt. That was my goal.
Okay,
After the goal of getting to green belt, then I thought, well, I've gone all right there, so I'll try to get to brown belt. So I got to brown belt, um, and I was going quite well with what I got. Because I was 20 when I first started, then my fitness was up, and so everything else was just practicing the techniques and so forth. And I went pretty well. Then once I got to brown belt, um, well, at that time, like 2 or 3 years later, we decided that it was time to get married and everything else, and so I left karate.
so how were you
And
feeling that time with your family, as how you were keeping? Because
Well, I left karate because my wife, I wanted to get married. So I said, okay, well, I'll give up karate and we'll just because I was training 3 nights a week. And I said to my fiance at the time, I said, okay, I'll give up karate. And my instructor come around and knocked on her door and asked if I was there.
oh,
And
great story.
yeah, so he said, oh, like he's Glenn there, and then because he come along and seen me and so forth, because I just left, and and she said, oh, you should go back, and I said, well, if I go back, I'll never stop, and she said, yes, I know that, and so that's how I started to train. I at that time we were moving, so we were moving to Campbelltown, and I was trying to figure out how I can actually still train and still keep it up. So we worked it out that I was able to actually train 3 nights a week, and I started my own dojo in Thomas Acres. It was in Thomas Acres in Campbelltown, and it was in a demountable. So the young kids that trained with me then, I still have one person training with me, and that's Farhid Mills, and he was the first one that come along and train. He actually runs the Rose Meadow Dojo.
Excellent, excellent.
So that's how we started with that. Once Rose Meadow School had had been built and opened, we went to Rose Meadow School and opened up the karate dojo there.
Great. So all the information Glenn is saying we shared through the comment as well. So the links and everything, because he got
Yep.
a wealth of information about martial art. So tell us about the story of setting up your own Gojuryu Academy. When did you do that?
Well, I trained under my instructor Keith Hill, and he allowed me to start my dojo up, and that was Karate Academy in Gojuryu, Australia. He he kept the dojo running in Ashfield, and said to me, okay, well, if you want to progress any further, you need to go to Japan. So in 1989, I went to I packed my stuff up. It was pretty expensive at that time. There wasn't too many signs around, and I went over and
Yeah,
trained with.
fine.
Yeah, so yeah, so it wasn't a friendly place. It wasn't as easy as what it is to get around as what because there like not many English signs, and I got lost a lot of times. But I found my way to Tazaki Hanshi. That was Shuji Sasaki, and I trained under him. Um, And I said to her, I don't want just to learn karate. I want to learn the way of martial arts. I want to know the etiquette and because I love that's one thing I really love about the karate is the respect and the discipline and respect that it installs in every student. And I wanted to learn how to actually teach that. And so that's one of the things. It's not just about punching and kicking. It's about learning the inner parts of respect for the elderly, the teachers, anyone that comes into it. So it's got a lot more into it, and that's what I liked. I went to learn over in Japan.
It's a
So
full lifestyle.
well, it does become that. It's something that you can apply to. It's I put it down to like mathematics. It's something you need every day, but you don't really need every little part of it. But you do use it in some way or another.
Excellent. So now you have how many places you have now this academy working?
We have 11 dojos around. Some of them are full-time places. The one at Kingsgrove is a full-time place, and over at Seven Hills there's a full-time place there. They run independently to what we do, and then we've got the smaller satellite ones like we run out of schools um,
Yep.
around the place. Yeah,
So you also train in a corporate as well, right?
as
In the corporate, you also do physical fitness as well,
yes,
right?
I do. I'm a personal trainer. I took that up because I wanted to actually learn more about the body and understand how I'm actually training. Because if you think about with a lot of karate, there's a lot of karate out there. People train, but they've got no qualifications behind them. So I took up the qualifications and got my certificate in fitness.
Okay. So as you mentioned about this brings qualities in children like my kid will go to your academy as well, which is really I see some change happening. And this is what I want to highlight a bit more when you say what brings the values, the etiquettes and values come from beside the physical fitness and having a self-defense. What are the qualities you are bringing in the young ones?
Well, it like I said, it teaches them that respect. I mean, we have a dojo kun that we say each night, and it's respecting parents, teachers, and elders. And I really believe in that part of it that they understand that they strive for the truth in everything they do and say. So it just comes down to just ordinary stuff that we would do every day. It's not preaching anything about it. It's just a matter of just installing these values that we teach in every family anyway, every
Yep.
family household we teach. But
Yep. Yep.
it's just installing them things that yes, it's set outside the household as well. Because yeah,
Yep.
improves
You
them and
also mentioned about there is a bigger body outside the Australia, which is the Oceana, and you're a director there. Tell me a little bit about what's your role there.
my role as a director of the Oceana part is developing new areas in karate. I've helped with a few dojos in Sri Lanka. In India, we have
Wow.
a number of them. In Pakistan, there's another dojo. Hopefully, they'll be coming to the camp this year as well.
Excellent. So you're helping all over there, and you mentioned there you're opening in other states as well, right?
Yes, we have other dojos. We have a few dojos that are running under me in Queensland. There's 3 under me in Queensland, but there's probably around about 9 that are actually under the organisation umbrella.
Excellent. So tell me the places in. I'm not sharing with the parents. We'll share through the chat as the comments as well. To in the Sydney, which suburbs you have as centers, and if we need to get the details, so they're all on your website as well.
Yes, they're on my website, and if anyone is interested with the karateacademy.com.au, what they can do is they can log on to go onto it and put their name and details in there, and we'll give them a free lesson from the places. And we run from as far as St Ives and across to into Ashfield for the inner city, St Ives for the northern side.
And then we have the Fairfield,
Campbelltown, Fairfield.
St. Helens,
Yeah.
Illawong, Camden, Maitland Grange, St. Ives, and even Picton. Wow. So
Yeah,
that's
we're running in Picton as well. We run a Saturday on Picton. Yeah.
excellent. And mostly these trainings happen in the after school, I believe.
Yeah, most of the areas because of our most of the instructors are working during the day, so 6 o'clock we usually start. So like I said, we run. I like to say that we run it like a business, but it's our pleasure that we run it for.
Yeah, it's more like a service. The
Yeah,
focus is
yeah.
more on
So
that. And I didn't know more about what you said about the values and the discipline you're adding that thing. I only take it up. Especially, I encourage the girls. That's why my girl is. She's very thin and tiny. I thought it's good to have her the self-defense that gives you confidence, especially when you go in a working life or you go alone. Then you feel a little bit more confident that I can defend myself. So, is there if you want to share about how much normally it costs to a parent? The school holidays coming and they might think, okay, let's give it a try and get our kids busy.
well, our most of our centres are run through, and so it's around about $75 a month. We have a family rate. We're at 120 a month, so that's a family, and that's as many as in the family. So if you have a big
Wow.
family, it's worth it to go on. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to go to. In some of the centres, of course, because it's if it's a full-time centre, then you just have to pay what that is.
Whatever.
But if you look at that, 75 to about 120.
Excellent. That's very nominal. And also, what I say to because of the COVID, more and more kids are stuck with the computers. They now the habit need to change, need to get out. It's also social as well because I pick my kid with another kid, friend of mine, and I find they enjoy it together. So if your siblings go together, it'll be like more like a family thing, more like a social thing, away from the screen and getting something physical because we say always a great brain need a strong shoulders and head to just to carry it.
Yeah.
so so any other message you want to convey to the parents who are thinking about it? Are you encourage them? And is there any age limit as well? The parents can come along, do it, sure.
There's no age limit. Most of our classes are all ages trained together. The reason why we do it that way in some of our classes, we only because of time, because we only specify for amount of time. But if you think about it in the way of that, if you can have your son or daughter and you can train in the same class, one, you're getting fitter by doing the training, and as well, they're learning the mannerism from the elder people. So if we look at it with Rosemeadow, there's we might have classes of 30 students, and in that 30 students we have the young, we call a ninja level, which is under 9-year-old, and then we have the junior level and the senior level, and when they line up, that's how they line up with the levels of that 3 levels, so they can understand, they understand rank and respect them levels, and so then they start to behave like the oldest students and so forth.
Excellent. That's I experienced myself with a couple of times when I went there. That's inspired me. That's actually pumped my blood as well to wanted to. I was shadow practicing with them, so that's very nice. And so I just want to share that if you want to remember one thing is the karateacademy.com.au, correct, Glenn?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
So we will get. Also, tell me towards the end for it's a free takeaway for all the audiences. The Glenn also have a nice YouTube channel which we'll share in through the comments as well. To you can grab. Tell me about it. What made you to make that channel? Because you're giving away all your skills in there. They have great 2-3 minute video which focus on each skill. Tell me a little bit about it.
What I did was I find that parents like yourself that are a bit, they like the young kids, they can pick it up really quickly. They pick it up like that, snap, and they've picked it up. And unfortunately, with the older generation, and it doesn't matter, 20 is old, so any age after that. The problem is after that we pick up. We don't pick up the skill. We don't pick up the pattern because we're so worried about making it right. And so I've made up these videos for one, because of, you say, with the kids with the YouTube and they're watching things all the time. Well, they can watch karate as well. So that's the reason why I put it up there for that. But as well as that, it worked on the other side with the parents. They can watch it and they can learn a little bit more, and then they can come along to the class and join in the class, and they don't feel like they're the one-off out there. And we have. I'll just quickly tell you a quick story. And I'm watching there. I had one of the younger ones, which is he's under 9. I think he's about 8 years old, and he's counting, and he's counting ich ni sanchi go roxi touch culture, and then his dad was right next to him, and like he's in his late 30s, and he's there, ich ni sanji, and then we give him a big clap afterwards. And one of the younger kids come up, and one of the other young ninjas, he come up and pat him on the back and good work, you counted to 10. So that was a big accomplishment from both father and son. So that's
what I enjoy.
That's what we love to hear. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I mean, it's a great story, and you gave a wealth of information. And as I said, post-COVID era, we need to bring our kids out doing something physical, and this is a great skill. Some people have a misconception it is about fight. No, it is about defend and discipline. So that's the 2 words I take from there to give you more confidence as a young one. Thanks a lot, Glenn. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate your time.